हेलो। तो हम लोग जो है अखबार पढ़ने वाले हैं। और तो ये द हिंदू का की पहली खबर है। एंड इंडियंस विद ओन व्हीकल्स इन तेहरान टोल्ड टू लीव सिटी। इसराइल ईरान कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चल रहा है एंड वाइडन हो रहा है, तो उसमें इंडियन नेशनल्स को बोला गया है जिनके पास अपनी गाड़ियां हैं कि आप अपने लोकेशन वगैरह कॉन्टैक्ट डिटेल बताइए, है ना। दैट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस। विल टेक सम नोट्स wherever necessary. Amid reports of a possible widening of the Israel Iran conflict, now in its fifth day, the Indian embassy in Iran has urged all Indian nationals and PIOs who are using own vehicles to leave the city for a safer location. All Indian nationals and PIOs who can move out of Tehran using their own resources are advised to move to a safe location outside the city, said the Embassy of India in the public announcement on Tuesday morning. This is the first time in the last 1 week that the Indian Embassy has urged people to use own resources to get out of Tehran, which is witnessing a large scale exodus of citizens as the fear of a full scale war with Israel mounts. Achha, full scale war? Okay. The embassy has been coordinating. I think I live under a rock. I don't know these things. The embassy has been coordinating relocation of Indian students and professionals from Tehran through specially arranged buses and an urgent measure to move them away from the Iranian capital that has been targeted repeatedly by Israeli air forces and missiles. Some Indians need have been facilitated to leave Iran through the border with Armenia. तो फर्स्ट देखिए, हम लोग को जो नोट्स बनाने हैं बेसिकली प्रीलिम्स ओरिएंटेड बनाने हैं। तो पहली बात तो आई फाउंड कि ईरान इजराइल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हम लोग जानते हो रहा है, बट ईरान बॉर्डर्स विथ आर्मेनिया। विल नॉट इट बी गुड अगर हम लोग चेक कर लें व्हाट आर द बॉर्डरिंग कंट्रीज ऑफ ईरान एंड इजराइल, राइट? दैट्स हाउ वी मेक नोट्स। बॉर्डरिंग कंट्रीज ऑफ ईरान, राइट? इट विल टेक टाइम। ठीक है, आगे पढ़ते तब तक, है ना। देन मिनिस्टर ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स, है ना, adding that further advisories will be issued depending on the fluid situation. Okay. Advising Indian nationals in Tehran who are not in contact with the embassy to get in touch with it. The embassy said all Indian nationals who are in Tehran and not in touch with the embassy are requested to contact the embassy. हाँ ठीक है, मतलब बेसिकली ये लोग अपना जान बचा रहा है वहां पे। ईरान फायर्स मोर मिसाइल्स आफ्टर इजराइल्स अटैक्स, है ना। ओके, गुड इनफ, लड़ लो तुम लोग। won't kill Iran supreme leader. Supreme leader. Okay. President, is US also in this? Wow. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that US would not kill Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Khamenei, ऐसे बोलते क्या? For now, and appeared to demand Tehran's surrender, marking a dramatic escalation in his rhetoric against Iran and its supreme leader. अच्छा, तो बेसिकली ये सब लड़ाई झगड़ा है। इफ अरे क्या हो गया इसको? Let's Google from here then. What is happening? This is not working. Let's see. So, okay. इसको लिख लेंगे हम लोग, ठीक है ना। नोट्स में और कुछ नहीं होगा। बॉर्डरिंग स्टेट्स ऑफ ईरान एंड इजराइल, दैट विल सफाइस, है ना। देन नेक्स्ट न्यूज, यू हैव दिस इज ट्रैकर, करंट अफेयर्स ट्रैकर बाय आतिश माथुर सर। Mm, it's taking a lot of time. हाँ, तो हम लोग जो है बॉर्डरिंग स्टेट्स विथ ऑफ ईरान एंड इसराइल देख रहे थे. ईरान बॉर्डरिंग कंट्रीज. सो यू हैव इमेजेस में देख लेते हैं हम लोग. यस. सो यू हैव वाओ, इट्स वेरी मेसी. आई डोंट नो, वहीं पे देखना होगा. ईरान बॉर्डरिंग कंट्रीज. इराक, टर्की, आर्मेनिया, अजरबैजान, तुर्कमेनिस्तान, अफगानिस्तान, 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 अफगान, अफगानिस्तान, पाकिस्तान. राइट. इसराइल की भी देख लेते हैं. इसराइल बॉर्डरिंग कंट्रीज. ओ सॉरी, एक सेकंड. Israel, for these things you have very good source. बॉर्डरिंग कंट्रीज. जिनको बस किताब पढ़नी थी वो जा सकते हैं. जिनको अखबार पढ़नी है वो यहाँ से देख सकते हैं. सो यू हैव लेबनान. लेबनान, बेरूत, है ना. सीरिया. लेबनान दिया हुआ था एनसीईआरटी में भी ना, 9th वाले. जॉर्डन, इजिप्ट, पैलेस्टीनियन टेरिटरीज. राइट. जिसमें आता है गाजा स्ट्रिप, वेस्ट बैंक. ये है. तो ये हमारा नोट्स है, सिंपल सीधा सीधा. इतना ही है काम का. बाकी अब देखिए अगला. ग्लोबल साउथ एंड G7 मीटिंग. इंडिया विल हाईलाइट द प्रायोरिटीज ऑफ द ग्लोबल साउथ एट द G7 समिट इन कनाडा. तो पहली बात तो अभी G7 समिट हो रहा है इन कनाडा. तो एक गूगल सर्च कि G7 क्या होता है ऑन Copilot, and it will give you an answer. राइट. अच्छा, विकीपीडिया ही खोल के दे दिया. चलो विकीपीडिया में पढ़ लिया. सो G7 51st G7 summit, है ना, is happening in uh, it must have happened, है ना. तो leaders, okay, not interested, not interested, not interested. Good enough. Our honorable prime minister has also been invited, of course. ठीक है. सिर्फ G7 के बारे में नहीं लिखा हुआ है. I want to ask, what is G7 summit? Okay. Describe G7 from an IR perspective. For God's sake, dude. Ah, oh my God. Describe to me what is G7. I'm such a digitally illiterate man from a UPSC perspective. ठीक. Inform a network of seven major economies. This is something we will write. Economies. It's Canada, France, Canada, Canada, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, US. Okay. Global economic challenges, blah blah. Okay, okay, good enough. 1975 made, right? Among the six. अच्छा, oil crisis. In context of oil crisis. ये बोलो ना. ये असली बात है. इकोनॉमिक चैलेंजेस, कॉपरेशन, ये तो ठीक है. ऑयल क्राइसिस हुआ तो तुम बनाया, ठीक है ना. कनाडा कनाडा was included in 1976. ठीक. यूरोपियन यूनियन पार्टिसिपेट करता है, but is not member. member. ठीक है. Recently you have Rush AI summits, Rush and conflicts. Okay. Hmm. गुड इनफ. इसको हम लोग तैयार करेंगे जब आईआर में मेंस के लिए, तो वो अलग होगा. वी विल नॉट मर्ज इट हियर. ये सिर्फ प्रीलिम स्पेसिफिक चीज है. बाकी अच्छा, यहाँ भी कुछ है. फिर यहाँ पे ग्लोबल साउथ की बात है ना. हम्म. साइप्रस में भी कुछ हो रहा है ना. हम्म. The conflicts left an early impact on the summit as US president left soon after. Okay. हाँ. The departure of the US president took place against the backdrop of reports that the US was mobilizing firepower and refueling platform for an operation in Gulf region. Right. Supported the idea of G7 into a possible G9. Russia or China को भी okay. He said that it was a very big mistake to remove Russia from the grouping after it annexed Crimea. I think you would not have a war right now if you had Russia in it. You would not have a war right now if Trump were president 4 years ago. Mr. Trump said. Okay, okay, okay. This man doesn't shy away. He argued that exclusion of Russian President Putin from the G7 high table makes life more complicated. Since the beginning of the Ukraine crisis in February 2022, India has been insisting that the war in Europe has disturbed the economies of the global south by triggering a commodities crisis. Right. Hmm. मिस्टर मोदी मीटिंग विद यूक्रेनियन. अच्छा, तो एक चीज तो लिख ही सकते हैं यहाँ पे कि global south economies have halted, not halted, some disturbed यही वर्ड यूज करना था। डिस्टर्ब्ड, हैव बीन डिस्टर्ब्ड, क्या आदमी है। रेस्ट इन पीस इंग्लिश। हैव बीन डिस्टर्ब्ड बाय द रीसेंट कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स। हमको पता ही है कौन से कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स रीसेंट है, तो है ना। The Indian leader confirmed his invitation to the Russian president. The invitation was gratefully accepted, the Kremlin said in a statement. है ना? Okay, right. तो okay, this was good. Global South के बारे में हम लोग जान लेते हैं। ग्लोबल साउथ के बारे में गूगल सर्च बनता है। ग्लोबल साउथ। राइट। अफ्रीका, लैटिन अमेरिका एंड एशिया। प्राइमरीली इन दिस। सिग्निफिकेंस है बहुत ज्यादा। हम्म। एक्सप्लॉइटेड पीपल टुगेदर, है ना। बेसिकली इसको तो एक जगह करना पड़ेगा, खैर उस पर जान दो। इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी यू हैव। अरे क्या हो गया। यस। The once abandoned cropland in the tribal settlements of Mannar in Kerala's Idukki district will soon adorn a green carpet. Right. ट्राइबल सेटलमेंट है मुन्नार में, केरला के इडुक्की डिस्ट्रिक्ट में। ग्रीन कारपेट क्या होता है? Farmers had left large areas uncultivated for years owing to attacks by wild animals. According to officials, the tribal population under the Wildlife Division has now introduced turmeric farming on the abandoned lands. As wild animals stay away from such farms, the tribal population took it up with the financial support for the forest department. Right. केरला में देखो इस तरह का वहाँ का वो भी समझदार है, वहाँ का फार्मर भी समझदार है, नहीं ट्राइबल्स एंड ऑल दैट। So, according to the officials of the tribal population, हाँ ये तो हो गया ना। Munnar Wildlife Warden KV Harikrishnan says that last year turmeric was cultivated on 2 acres under the Munnar Forest Division and reaped rich dividends. This year, turmeric farming will be done on okay, settlements of Chinnar Wildlife Sanctuary, Iravikulam National Park, and Anamudi National Park. Okay, so these three things are in Kerala. The trial farming conducted here found that turmeric farming is very practical in these lands. Right. So during the trial farming, the Department of Tribal Farmers monitored the wild animals. Department of Tribal, over the months, the officials noted the crop raiding threat has waned. Turmeric farming is a new hope for farmers, giving 5 tons per acre of land. Okay, interesting, interesting. तो बेसिकली आप देख रहे हैं कि अ, तो यहाँ पर था क्या, यहाँ पे था वाइल्ड एनिमल्स के साथ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट और उसका एक सोल्यूशन निकाला इन लोगों ने। दिस इज एन एथिक्स एग्जांपल बेसिकली ऑफ प्रेजेंस ऑफ माइंड। इनोवेटिव सॉल्यूशंस किसी ना किसी कीवर्ड में तो डाल ही देंगे. केरला's tribal farmers saving doing turmeric farming to avoid animal attacks, which also generates revenue. It's interesting. फिर क्या है कि कुछ नेशनल पार्क्स थे यहाँ पे, तो चिन्नार वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी है ना, लिख लेते हैं पूरा वहीं से. वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी कहाँ है? केरला में. इराविकुलम नेशनल पार्क, ये समझ जाएंगे. और एक ठो अनामुदी अनामुदी नेशनल पार्क. ये दो नेशनल पार्क इधर है, ठीक है ना. इसके अलावा और कोई नेशनल पार्क तो नहीं है. इडुक्की डिस्ट्रिक्ट, ये सब हाँ ये वाला लिखना पड़ेगा ना. केरलाज इडुक्की डिस्ट्रिक्ट ट्राइबल फार्मर्स, है ना. तो इतना सा है, ज्यादा नहीं है. फिर अगली खबर डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट, वही वो प्लेन हादसे वाली होगी. अ, हाँ इसका थोड़ा अच्छा से नोट्स बनाना पड़ेगा. हाँ, द फेटल क्रैश ऑफ एयर इंडिया फ्लाइट AI-171, ये नाम है इसका, अहमदाबाद on इतना, thrown open the floodgates of TRP seeking media channels to cause fear among air travelers. Experts on YouTube and the courts, of course. Channels are going overboard with theories about what caused the accident. That are in turn being lapped up with viewers. The media has also been reporting events days after the accident that have been. अच्छा ठीक है. The digital flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder of yes have been removed intact from the wreckage. The National Transportation Safety Board of the US and the Air Accidents Investigation Board of the UK are a part of the investigation. We should wait for accurate data soon. ठीक है. Heavy stake in this matter and rumors that are flooding WhatsApp groups are something that company needs to address swiftly. The only survivor on board the flight has mentioned to some channels that he had heard a loud thud a few seconds after liftoff and of lights on. Okay, ठीक है. ये मतलब डिटेल बता रहे हैं अंकल ही तो. ठीक है. Who is this uncle? He was a pilot. Okay. As mentioned earlier, the incidents involving other international airlines flying the Boeing 787s have become weapon for many to condemn the aircraft. है ना. अभी डेटा निकलेगा उसका, CCTV footage and all that. So, are we learning here valuables anything or not? भाई इसको कैसा पढ़ेंगे भाई. हाँ okay. So you have runway 23 at Ahmedabad is of length इतना, इसका क्या मतलब है इसका. इंजन परफॉर्मेंस इज बेस्ड ऑन टेम्परेचर. हाँ ये दिस इज ना, ये लिखेंगे हम लोग. टेम्परेचर और प्रेशर का रोल होता है. When data is entered in the aircraft's flight management computer, it will give the crew correct speed and thrust to be used. All takeoff weights are based on aircraft losing one engine and climbing out safely, clearing all obstacles in a takeoff path. The landing gear has to be retracted as soon as an aircraft takes off and before reaching 35 feet. indicated by an increase in altimeter reading in the cockpit primary flight display. In this case, the landing gear was not retracted and must have created tremendous drag. With a loss of thrust in even one engine, the climb gradient will be severely affected. In the CCTV footage released by the airport operator, है जी? अच्छा, okay, okay. So ball by ball commentary of what happened. The second engine may have failed due to debris ingestion or bird ingestion. Oh, okay. Huh. I don't see anything worth writing in here. नोट्स बनाए होंगे सर ने. Key takeaways. Nice. AI 117. This was the flight name. This was the company's name. Aviation company's name. This thing were recovered. And then you have nothing special. Na? Lessons from similar incidents. Yes. Oh. It is okay, but is it required for me? Hmm. मीडिया एथिक्स की बात है इसमें. ठीक है. Now we, what is this about? Ease of doing business. Science must be unfettered if it is to be useful. Last week, the government issued a set of orders that the scientists have heralded as revolutionary. Revolutionary? A major change is in allowing scientific institutions to bypass the government e-marketplace, a commerce ministry initiative that meant to prioritize made in India equipment. GEM norms require all government purchases from laptops to furniture to be routed through the GEM portal with the mandate to buy from the vendor offering the lowest price. While technocrats in government amplified this bypass as a landmark initiative to promote ease of doing research, okay, एक नया कीवर्ड मिलता है हमको, ease of doing research. So GEM पोर्टल को bypass कर सकते हैं हम, है ना? Nice. The fact that GEM based procurement was made mandatory from 2020. The default opinion was to allow individual scientific institutions the freedom to make their choices regarding the vendors they procure. Take, for example, sodium chloride. Something as common as table salt must be available in infinite supply. Right. Kosher flat C. देखो ना, ये सब भी क्वेश्चन आ जाता है भाई साहब. Kosher flat and C are avatars of salt. है ना? तो पूछेगी the terms kosher, flat and C are related to which of the following varieties of food items? The answer is salt. So a major aspect of scientific research is about being able to reproduce results of experiments described in publications. Often this requires fidelity to the methods and materials of the original experimenter. Given the challenges of budgets and the inability to the source the right material results in experiments being junked halfway or crimping on experimental ambition, resulting overall in a net loss of resource, time and effort. If this is extended to materials more complicated than salt, precision labs uh, customized lab produced diamonds, biological molecules. For example, it is easy to understand the gripe of scientists. It is understandable and pardonable when a government experiments with an untested policy and runs into uncharted waters or unknown unknowns. Unknown unknowns. In the case of GEM, it was a known fact that India lacked an industrial base for sophisticated machinery, and it was inevitable that the hammerhead policy, there's something called hammerhead policy, that saw all products as cookie cutter nails would impede scientific research. India's scientific ministries are unique in that they are led by scientists instead of the usual norm of having career bureaucrats. This was due to a recognition dating back to the early years of the Republic that while science and technology can be employed to serve the state, science itself is unfettered and must be specially nurtured to be useful. A free hand is worth more than two fettered arms. क्या क्या बात लिखी हुई है? uh, this is a good quote. Free hand is better than two fettered arms. What is the hammerhead policy? Wow, इंटरनेट नहीं काम कर रहे हैं. Hammerhead policy. What is it? What is it? I don't think it will find it. Hammer clause है जी. ये नहीं है. Hammerhead policy is related to research policy of India. Let's see. Restrictions in Indian scientific procurement. They saw all products treated as uniform. भाई ये लोग सीधा सीधा आर्टिकल उठा के दे दे रहा है भाई. Give me a definition. फिर वही सब सर्च करने लगा. We got it basically. Okay, it's a treating all products as uniform, है ना? So okay, there are notes also. Bypassing vendor choice, है ना? Impact on scientific institutions, good enough. Easing prices. So inflation is falling, but the unpredictability factor is high now. Okay. Okay, the inflation data for May shows just how much can change in 1 month. Retail inflation came at a 75-month low. Acha, of 2.8% in May, with easing food prices the main reason behind its fall. Wholesale inflation slowed, the lowest in more than a year. The primary driver here, आपको लिख लो यहाँ पे कोई काम का नहीं है. Inflation is falling. Ball by ball commentary की जरूरत नहीं है. Inflation is falling. W WPI is falling. क्या कारण है? Falling food prices. Why are food prices falling? Direct drastic contraction of 12.4% in crude oil national oil prices. An oversupply of oil and slowing global economy had meant that the months leading up to May had seen oil prices fall. अच्छा ऑयल सप्लाई बढ़ गई है. वाह. क्या है? With India importing about 80% of soil requirement, this eventually translated into lower wholesale inflation. अच्छा ये सारा सारा का सारा तो हाँ. The RBI had in its monetary policy announcement predicted the inflation for the year would come to हाँ. Right. The feeling until not too long ago was that inflation would continue to ease. But then Israel attacked Iran, है ना? हाँ. Fuel or food, right? Oil prices jumped as much as 8% in a single day following Israel's attack on Iran on June 13, है ना? हाँ तो वापस से स्टेट ऑफ हॉर्मूज, है ना? हॉर्मूज, ठीक है. वेयर इज स्टेट ऑफ हॉर्मूज? वी विल सर्च दैट. स्टेट ऑफ हॉर्मूज UPSC location. Let's see. लिख लेते हैं. स्टेट ऑफ हॉर्मूज is basically a place in news, right? Waterway, we know that waterway between Iran and Arabian Peninsula, है ना? Links Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman, right? And then you have ठीक है, nothing else. 20% of global oil trade, right? India's oil supplies for key sources are Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. Unlikely eventu- Unlikely eventuality, either with Commerce Ministry, right? The monsoon has picked up pace again, according to the IMD officials, but it's still early days. In the past, even though the overall monsoon has been satisfactory, its uneven spatial distribution has left several agricultural areas parched. It is far from certain that the food prices will continue their downward trajectory. In its last monetary policy meeting, the RBI shifted its stance to neutral, indicating that हाँ, it's a ball by ball commentary thing. इसको ज़्यादा seriously नहीं लेना है. Right. Inclusive pension system, right? क्या है भाई इतना बड़ा आर्टिकल? Pensions are essentially maintaining economic stability and dignity after retirement, right? Financial literacy, national pension system, Atal pension yojana, right? Right. What are the key takeaways? Pensions are crucial for ensuring economic stability and dignity. ठीक है. Low pension coverage in India. इसको थोड़ा सा लिख लेते हैं. Low pension coverage in India. Right. So 17% of GDP, 12% India's workforce. Wait a second. यस, तो हम लोग थे यहाँ पे 12% ऑफ इंडियाज वर्कफोर्स, राइट. देन यू हैव schemes like national pension system and Atal pension scheme. स्कीम नहीं, वो योजना है. Need to integrate more. Hmm. There are challenges to pension expansion, global best practices. Basically, pension, India's पेंशन पॉलिसी पर एक नोट बनाना है. एक वन पेजर बना लेंगे इसमें. जस्ट रिमेंबर दिस, यू हैव टू मेक दिस fair enough. India pension scheme. Despite deportations and visa denials, Indians stand with Trump. हे भगवान. भाई ये इम्पोर्टेंट क्यों है हम लोग के लिए? ठीक है, इट्स नॉट दैट इम्पोर्टेंट. व्हाट? सो इंडिया यूएस रिलेशंस में दिस पर्टिकुलर पर्सन, व्हाई इज इट इम्पोर्टेंट? नो कॉन्फिडेंस. हाँ, एक सर्वे का डेटा है कि कितना लोग ट्रम्प को पसंद करता है, कितना नहीं करता है. व्हाई इज इट इम्पोर्टेंट? आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड. I don't think so. This doesn't require a note. Let's go. The third nuclear age. Right? पेज 11 पे पहुंचे, पेज 17 तक पहुंच गए, बहुत टाइम है अभी. So पूरा आर्टिकल तो नहीं पढ़ पाएंगे. What are the key takeaways? Emergence of third nuclear age. What are the characteristics of third nuclear age? Uh, Triggered by actions like Israel's bombing of Iran, which violated the, yes, without global criticism. That is interesting. That is interesting. ये है मेन कैरेक्टरिस्टिक. पहले अगर एनपीटी वायलेट होता था तो कम से कम क्रिटिसिज्म तो मिलता था. नाउ इज लाइक पीपल आर एक्सेप्टिंग ऑफ इट. फेजेस देख लेते हैं. फर्स्ट न्यूक्लियर एज, कोल्ड वॉर एरा विद म्यूचुअली assured destruction. I'll kill you, you'll kill me. Nice. Second nuclear age, assumed nukes could be pushed into the background until somebody figured out how to achieve total nuke. Nuclear weapons and deterrence. Interesting. Attitude towards proliferation and deterrence began to harden with. Hmm. Oh, what the fuck, man. Superpower rivalry, right? We know that. Nuclear modernization programs, I know. It was an age of cynicism, global zero. It made a mockery of NPT's Article 6, which called on nuclear policy to pursue negotiations in good faith. Yes, so इसके अलावा you have messier global renewed silence of nukes, है ना? You have France and Britain to deter a resurgent Russia. Okay, France is modernizing and reopening old bases. Deterrence was the ultimate guarantor of status quo. Hmm. अब deterrence नहीं हुआ from first attack. After Hiroshima, nuclear deterrence has been based on nukes being the final resort. If thinking on deterrence shifts in this nuclear age at the time of global realignment and potential, then we are entering into a period of self-inflicted nuclear insecurity. Right. मेनली आपका एक ग्लोबल एरा डिस्क्राइब हो रहा है जहाँ पर बेसिकली एक एक्सेप्टेंस है ऑफ फर्स्ट यूज पे, है ना? कोई क्रिटिसिज्म नहीं होता है. हाउ मच इज लेफ्ट? दो तीन दो पाँच, एक छः, दो आठ, 10 खबरें बची हुई हैं. एक सेकंड रुक जाओ.